Hello guys, welcome back to the channel where trading is made easy with high level of clarity. First of all, congratulations to our viewers that utilized this opportunity that we shared on Sunday on USDJPY. And today we have few pairs that will be running top the analysis to give you updates on what to expect. And today we'll be covering both US30 today. So stay with us at the end of this video, because at the end of this video, you will maximize the opportunity of winning in forex market. Without wasting time, let's begin. And we are starting with USDJPY once again today, and we are going to be removing everything on the screen so that you can have clear view on what to expect in the market. Okay, we are going to delete this and delete this. Okay, and delete this so that we'll let's just clear everything. Now, let's start from daily, right? On daily, we can see that USDJPY is in a very bullish movement. And whenever a market is in a very bullish movement, you start looking for more opportunity today, upside. I'm considering what our DXY is giving us. Remember, I told you before you start analyzing any USD pairs, you have to come to your DXY and look at what DXY is giving to you before you start analyzing, because DXY means dollar index. It controls, or it shows, the strength and weakness of dollar. So having said that, let's proceed. Now when we look at this right now, we can see that let's go back to our USDJPY. We can see that this market is in a very bullish movement, and the first thing you have to do whenever you come to your daily time frame, you try to see if there is any gap left. If we don't have any gap left, then we can start moving to lower time, to 4 hours and other lower time frames. But on this particular place, right, we cannot see any visible fair value gap or order block. The only fair value gap that we are seeing is the one left at this particular place, which the market is not coming to fill anytime soon. So having this in mind, then because we don't have any valid order block at this particular place or any fair value gap, we are now going to focus on what is really happening at this particular place. Always have that in mind. Now, when we get to 4 hours, we can now see that things are now being defined. Now, we can see how this market is creating higher highs and higher lows. And I want you to look at something, right? USDJPY always come back to cover every gap left. And that is why when we look at this particular place, we can see these gaps here, how market came back to fill all this gap. When we had gap here, you can see how the market later came back and filled it. Even this particular place, when we had this gap, market came back with this week to fill everything. So the market is always filling every gap left. Even this gap here, when it was left, market came back with this. Let's zoom it. It came back with this particular week, right, to cover this gap at this particular place. So that is the behavior of USDJPY. It always close gap, leaving nothing behind. Now, when we look at this, I explain and analyze this market when it was here, explaining all the reasons why we should see this down movement. Because of what? On Sunday, we had a very powerful fair value gap here, right? And I explained all the reasons why we should be expecting market to come back to cover it. And also, we have this liquidity here that needed to be swept. Now, if you are new in this channel, I want you to always know this. Whenever market is creating higher highs and higher lows, and market created low without this low sweeping any liquidity, after creating a high, market always come back to take out that low before continuation to the upside. And that's exactly what the market did. I told us the reason why we should not be considering this particular 4 hours order block as valid, because of what? We had this unmitigated liquidity here, and I told you people that market was gonna come to mitigate it, and that was what opened room for 1 hour order block that we saw here, which we are going to see in just few minutes. So in this situation right now, what do we have right now? You can see that all this particular place, all the gap left are covered, and here there is no gap left again, and the market has now taken out this liquidity, right? Please always have this in mind. Whenever a low did not sweep any liquidity, market always come back to take out that liquidity. Always have this in mind. And that's what exactly that has happened. Now, you can go through my previous video, because through my previous video, I covered all these moves that you are seeing here. Through that video, you can learn a lot, right? So let's proceed. Now let's drop down to 1 hour. Now, when we came to 4 hours, we discovered that we had a very good order block at this particular place with a very good fair value gap. But since we have a liquidity to be swept below it, we don't consider this valid. And please have this in mind. Whenever you have order block above and there's liquidity below it, always know that the market is not going to respect that order block. It's likely not to respect it. So always have that in mind. So now this happened to be our what? Liquidity that needed to be swept. When we go to 4 hour and 1 hour rather, you will discover that we had that extreme order block. Now, I want you to also learn something again today. Now look at this. Have you seen that our order block was swept? This is why I have said this couple of times. Whenever you have order block and there is wick below it, treat all of them as one. And that was what saved us from this particular place, most especially if you are aggressive trader, people that use limits order. As you can see, your stop loss was protected and your entry was protected. By now, you must have been in a very big what? Profit. So right now, our liquidity is swept and market has already mitigated this, our order block. Right now, we are going to focus on what is currently happening here, because everything we need has been met. I want you to look at something. Look at how this market was creating series of lower lows and lower highs. Now, creating higher highs and higher lows to create more higher high, which we are likely to see the market clearing these highs. Now, I want you to look at something, right? That's the same thing that happened at this particular place. I want you to look at how this low did not sweep any liquidity. What happened? Market came all the way down to take out this liquidity, coming to fair value gap that we are seeing at this particular what place, right? Before this move today upside. Always have that in mind. Now that we have this right now, the market has changed from creating lower lows and lower highs to now creating higher highs and higher lows. And when the market was trying to come to take out this low, market was creating lower lows and lower highs, but something happened here, right? Now let's go to 30 minutes and 15 minutes lower to see what we are having at this particular place. Remember, market has mitigated our order block, so we are now looking for more continuation to the upside. So let's look for that trading opportunities together. Now we can see how this high, right, broke to the lower side, giving us this break of structure. Now, after break of structure, what do you expect? We don't expect market to go above this, and market went above it, sweeping that internal liquidity, making this to be our very strong what? High. Now, this happened to be our very strong high, that whenever markets go above it, it's not gonna only now be a strong high, rather it will be a very full change of character. Why? Because whenever a liquidity, a high or a low sweep liquidity, we don't want to see market go above it. When market go above it, it's a change of character to the buy side. When market goes below it, if it happens below, it is now going to be a change of character to the downside. Now, this market has given us that wonderful change of character. So we are going to be looking for more opportunities to the upside. So right now, our full bias right now is looking for opportunity to the upside, considering also what our DXY is giving to us. But before we come to that, let's look at what we have here. Let's get the entry. That takes us back to 4 hours. Let's see if we have any valid order block on 4 hours. Now, on 4 hours, we can see how we have that wonderful order block at that particular what place. So on this 4-hour order block, and the market is now reacting from this particular place, which is resistance turn to support. So we are seeing that reaction at this particular place. So having that in mind, let's move down to 1 hour. Remember, we have found our order block on 4-hour, and this order block happens to have a very good fair value gap. And whenever we have fair value gap, order block with fair value gap, it makes that gap, if that order block, to be very, very strong. Now remember, we have lows below this, so that's why you have to be careful, because trading is reactive and not predictive. So without wasting time, let's proceed. Now when we move back to 1 hour, we can see that we have that order block here, and we have another order block back above, giving us these two order blocks. Now this order block on 1 hour here, it has been mitigated with this low, but we are still seeing some certain things there. We can see that fair value gap left at this particular place. So let's proceed. Now let's identify this order block. This order block we have on 1 hour, right? Because on this 1 hour, the other block we have here has been mitigated, but we have fair value gap below. So now let's delete this particular one. So let's go to 30 minutes to see what we have. On 30 minutes, we have that order block here. Let's see 15 minutes to see what is there. On 15 minutes, we have this order block here, extreme order block, right? And I'm taking this to be a very good order block because it swept internal liquidity before breaking a structure to the upside. So this happened to be a very strong low, right? So in that situation right now, we are going to be treating that low as a very strong low, and which market could come to it. But remember, trading is reactive and not predictive. We react how the market reacts. So in this situation, what are we gonna do? So right now, let's go back to our 30 minutes to see how things are. So we are now going to extend this to this order block and start looking at what the market is going to give to us. Remember, on 1 hour, this happened to be our order block. Then on 30 minutes, we have another order block. So in this situation, what do we do? Remember, trading is reactive and not predictive. So I'm going to be looking for that point of interest at these particular levels, right? Now, I will look for that entry at this particular level only on one condition, right? Remember, always wait for liquidity sweep, because this low did not sweep any liquidity before creating this high. So I'm going to be looking for that liquidity sweep before considering this place a valid point of interest. What do I want to see? I want to see markets creating a high, now coming back to sweep this internal liquidity to come here before I take this place to be valid. But if market fail to do this and market decide to come down straight to this particular place, I will not be taking this as my point of interest. Rather, I will be taking this particular place as my point of interest, because liquidity needs to be taken out now that we have change of character. So the market could decide to use this as a liquidity, because here it's a very valid low on 5 minutes. It's a valid pullback on 5 minutes. So the market could decide to use this low as what? Internal liquidity. And on 15 minutes also is a valid pullback. So market could decide to use it as what? A liquidity. I can only consider it valid if this market decide to create a high before coming to this particular place. Now market is now going to use this particular level as a liquidity, right? So the firstly, we'll be looking for that point of interest at this particular place. Remember, don't be greedy in the market. 3-to-1 risk reward is more than okay in the market. And that second entry, I'll be looking for it at this particular place, right? My stop loss just below this low, because I have weeks beside my order block on 30 minutes. Let's go back to 30 minutes. This week, I'm not gonna neglect it, right? I'm gonna put my stop loss below there. Then first my 3-to-1 risk reward here. Then I can be now targeting this particular place. If okay, let's use this. I can be targeting here and even more further, because definitely I'm expecting these highs to be cleared, which is going to give us 8 to 1 risk what reward. So on USDJPY, this is what I am expecting. Now let's quickly go back. I have a valid order, another setup on GBPUSD. But before we come to that particular place, if you have not subscribed, subscribe, turn on the notification button, share, comment, and like, because your comment, share, like, and subscription kind of help us to create more educational quality videos like this. So let's quickly go to DXY to see what we have there. Now on DXY, we can see that's why I say you can go through my previous video, because it's gonna teach you a lot, right? Because all these moves you are seeing here, I covered all of them, and I explained all the reasons why we should be expecting the market to cover this last order block, this last order block before we start seeing any move to the upside, and market had already tapped inside that particular place, because we saw a very valid order block on 4 hours, but we had that abnormal behavior. Now let me quickly say this, right? Whenever you see a gap like this in the market, this is abnormal in the market will always come back to fill it. And that was what we saw that made me to tell you people, wait for that change of character at this particular place before taking this order block to be valid. Why? Because we saw that that's abnormal behavior in the market at this particular place, and that's exactly what the market has done. So right now we are going to now bring this back here and do some certain things with it. Now market has already mitigated this order block. As you can see, market has used this as what internal liquidity that has been swept. Market has used it as internal liquidity. So we are going to expect more bullish movement. Why? Because when we look at our weekly, we can see how the market has changed from creating lower lows and lower highs to now shifting its trend. Because even on monthly, we can see how the market has covered some certain things, and the market has covered this particular gap that I talked about at the beginning of the month, right? We are likely to see more bullish price action, considering the kind of bullish candle that we saw here, this bullish engulfing, covering two months candle. So we could see more bullish movement today, upside, seeing this rejection and this bullish engulfing again. And we can see that the market had already covered this gap, because that was the only gap left. We are not seeing that gap here, and this particular gap, these are the only two gaps we have. And I know that the market is not coming here anytime soon, and we should be expecting that continuation to the upside. So our DXY is reacting from a very strong support level, because as you can see, okay, let's go to daily. We can see how this market was creating lower lows and lower highs, but right now the market is now creating higher highs and higher lows. It just swept this, and at this particular place we have equal high. Remember, let's delete this. Remember, if you are new in this channel, always know this: whenever you have equal highs like this, market will always come to take out this as a liquidity, because it's so many people have their stop loss above here on set position. So market will always come to take it out. So expect this dollar to be very strong this coming week. Now, when we move to 4 hours, you can see right now that the direction and the movement of the market has gradually changed from creating lower lows and lower highs to now creating the first higher high that we have ever seen. So we can expect higher low for more continuation to the upside. Now, remember, this is DXY. This, we could now see dollar being very strong. So always have that in mind. So let's quickly go to GBP USD. Now on GBP USD, remember I talked about GBP USD, and I explained all the reasons why we should be expecting the market to come to fill this unmitigated order block. And the market decided not to come to it here, and first of all created this, and this now is going to be used as a liquidity sweep before we start seeing more continuation today upside, because in generally speaking, GBPUSD is still in bullish movement on daily. As you can see, it is still creating higher highs and higher lows. But from what our DXY is telling us, that USD is gonna be strong, so that could see GBP selling against USD, considering the kind of news release that we had today on GBP. Now, when we go to 4 hours, we can see how this market had already changed a trend to lower time on lower time frame, showing trend move direction to the downside, which we are going to be looking at for in just a minute. But I want you to look at something, right? Remember, after the market created this move to the upside, right? This market came here, used this week to sweep this liquidity without closing above it. And this is now a very wonderful sign that the market has given room for more continuation to the downside. Now, what is guaranteeing that? Now, I want you to look at this, right? This happened to be a higher high, right, created after this sweep of liquidity here, right? Then we did not want to see this market, right, go below this, but market has gone below it and closed below it, which has opened more door that could give us that move to the downside to come and close this gap left. As you can see, we have a very fair value gap left here. Let's go to 4 hours. We can see that fair value gap left, and GBP always love closing its gap. As you can see, all the gaps left here, all of them has been closed, including the ones left here. Even this particular one here, right? GBP later came back to close it with this long wick. So GBP always love closing every fair value gap left. And this is now a very good fair value gap left. This is now a very good low that is holding very, very big multiple liquidity. People's stop loss are below this. So market makers will always want to use this as inducement to take out orders before more continuation today upside, considering what we are seeing on our DXY. So we could see this market coming to this particular place before we start seeing that move today upside. So firstly, my setup on GBP here is still valid, right? This is my first point of interest, and I will be targeting 3-to-1 risk reward, which is here, which after that I could be targeting these highs. So when we go to 1 hour to see what is really happening, right? Now we are having that change of character. What's happening? Okay, it's fine. We are having that change of character right now at this particular place. Though market, because remember, this market is in bullish movement, and any trade you are taking to the downside, any sell position you are taking to the downside is counter trend, which is very, very risky. So you should wait. Don't look for that steady, because this market could continue moving to the upside. But to me, this is my first point of interest. Remember, and we have a daily order block here, and this low did not sweep any liquidity. So we could be seeing this low taken out before continuation to the upside. So on GBPUSD, let's adjust this for better risk reward. On GBPUSD, this is my first entry, and we are having that kind of change of trend, and this market swept this buy side liquidity without closing above it. So we could see that market coming to this particular place before continuation to the upside. So what am I going to be doing? I'm going to wait to see what the market is going to do. But if this market comes down to this particular place, then I'm going to be taking that order to the upside. Let's go to 1 hour to see. Okay, because of what we are seeing currently, the market is reacting from this order block here, which the market is likely going to mitigate to come to this extreme order block. before continuation to the downside. So if the market decides to come and take out this high, then I could be looking for that short position from here. Remember, trading is reactive and not predictive. Always wait for change of trend. In fact, for you to take a counter trend, you have to be very, very careful because this is a very dangerous trade, and I don't advise anyone to take it if you don't have a very good entry model that can give you that valid entry, right? Or, or rather, you can wait for the market to come to this particular place before you start looking for that buy today upside. And then secondly, we have a very good order block at this particular place, right? But because of what the market is already doing, I'm not going to be looking for buy opportunity at this particular place. Why? Because we have a liquidity below here. Remember what I just said a few minutes ago. We have a liquidity below here. The market could decide to continue moving to the upside, but sometimes it happens in the market, and if you continue going to the upside, you don't have anything to worry about. On Sunday, we still give you updates on what to expect in the market. So, considering what we are also seeing our DXY, that dollar is kind of really gonna be strong. So I'm expecting more selling pressure to the downside, at least to come and cover these gaps. But if the market come to this particular place, in fact, let me delete this. This is a very risky trade, so no, I might not be taking it, but depending on what the market is going to give to me. So if the market comes to this particular place and give you that valid entry, you can be taking it, but this is a very risky trade, right? Because we have a liquidity below it, and we have another order block with fair value gap below it. But if market gives you that entry here, you can take it and, right, target your 3-to-1 risk reward, and it is coming to this particular order block that market could come to. The market could decide to come here, right, come to this order block before we see that move to the downside. But remember, trading is reactive and not predictive. So on GBPUSD, these are the things that I am expecting these setups, right? So always wait. Remember, wait for change of trend, change of character before you start taking it to the upside, because the market could even come here and decide to move to more further to the downside. So on GBPUSD, this is what I am expecting. Then let me see if I can analyze EURUSD. EURUSD is okay. EURUSD and GBPUSD, they are similar in movement, so I'm not gonna analyze much here. And as you can see, euro is already giving us that, right? So let's see what the market is really gonna give. Let's see daily. Oh, okay. Okay, let me quickly just analyze it a little for us. As we can see, we have order block at this particular place, right? And we have that fair value gap here, which could attract the attention of the market to that zone. And we had that fair value gap, and market has used this to cover it, remaining only this one. So we could likely see the market coming to this particular place. So let's go to 4 hours to see. But the market is now giving us that movement, that direction to the downside, which we could see the market moving to the downside further, because we have that fair value gap, very good fair value gap. So on EURUSD, first of all, I'm going to be looking for that opportunity at this particular place. Why? When we get to the daily order, daily time frame, you can see that we have order block at that particular zone. And when we have a very big order block like this, what do? We don't just start looking for entry like this. We place our entry like this. No, it's not gonna give you that good risk reward. What do? You just mark the zone and go to lower time frame to see what you can do by refining further. Now, since this gap has been covered, there is possibility for this gap to be covered. When we move to 4 hours, we can see that the market is currently reacting from this order block, 4-hour order block we are seeing. So the market could decide to continue moving to the upside, but from what we are seeing on our DXY, we could see more continuation to the downside, considering we still have a very good fair value gap, and this low did not sweep any liquidity, right? So the market could use it as a liquidity. Let's see 1 hour. Yes, this low did not sweep any liquidity before creating a new higher high here. So the market could come. I think I have high probability that the market would come to the downside to sweep this liquidity, coming to this order block that we have inside this daily order block, because here we don't have any other valid order block aside this one below liquidity. So there is high possibility for this zone to be used as liquidity for market to come to this particular zone before we start seeing that move to the upside. So on EURUSD, I'll be looking for that opportunity at this particular place. My stop loss is going to be here, right? But I'm going to wait for that change of trend because this is a very big order block. So wait for that change of trend. Remember, don't be greedy in the market. 3-to-1 risk reward is more than okay. So I'm not gonna, despite we have, okay, despite we have that order block at this particular place, but okay, let's go to 30 minutes. Let me see something. Okay, let's be refining. Let's go to 15 minutes. Okay, now we are seeing so many other blocks on 15 minutes, right? And this low swept liquidity. Let's look at what is happening here. Okay, we have that fair value gap here, right? And this low swept this liquidity. Let me show you that liquidity swept. Look at it. It swept this internal liquidity. So this could be a very good zone to start looking for buys. Let me see. Because of what it swept that liquidity, and we have these inducements here. So we could see the market. Okay, let's see. We could see the market coming here to continue. Okay, let's be careful with what we are having here, right? Because I'm seeing just change of character here, right? Okay, and this high was taken out as a liquidity, right? And now the market has closed above this. So the market could, okay, now look at how we are going to approach it, right? I'm going to look for opportunity here, but I would wait for change of character before considering this valid, right? 3-to-1 risk reward is more than okay. On Euro USD, let's go to this. I will look for that entry at this particular place, right? But if I did not see that, then I will be waiting for the market to come to this particular zone. This is my extreme point of interest because of this liquidity below it. But if the market decide, let's go to 1 hour. But if the market decide to do otherwise, then I will look for that. Okay, let's see something. The market closed above it, so also on 1 hour. So we could see that market going above from here, but from what our DXY is telling us, we could see that market coming to this particular place, coupled with what we are seeing here. So I'll be waiting for that position here and also here. Please just be careful on this particular first position. Wait for a very strong change of character before taking that trade. Else, I'll be looking for it here. Then after 3-to-1 risk reward, I can be targeting these external what highs, which is going to give me about 8-to-1 risk what reward. So on Euro USD, this is what I have. Let me quickly look at US30. Okay, let's go to daily time frame. Okay. Now on US30, I think the market has created a new higher high, as you can see. And from what we can see that these lows did not sweep any liquidity. Okay, I think we are seeing internal sweep of liquidity. Let's go to 4 hours. Okay, before we go to 4 hours, we can see that order block there, right? And we have a very good fair value gap there. So that makes this order block very strong, but market is very far from that zone. So let's go to 4 hours to see what the market is doing. So we can see vividly that, okay, the market is creating series of higher highs and higher lows, but currently the market is moving to the downside. And we can see that this low here did not sweep any liquidity right before this break off structure. So there is possibility for the market to come and take it as inducement. Now we don't have, okay, we have this fair value gap at this particular place, but this is not a valid order block. This is not a valid order block because it has been mitigated. So that opens door. Let's see 1 hour. We have something there. So I'm not sure that markets, this zone is going to hold this market. That opens door to more continuation to the downside. So on US30, I am expecting, and this low did not sweep any liquidity from what I can see. Sorry. From what I can see, it didn't sweep, so the market could take it out. So on US30, I'm going to be looking for that opportunity at this particular place. This is the extreme place that I'll be looking for that opportunity. Why? Because this is where we have that fair value gap, right? Let's go to 1 hour to see. We have a very good fair value gaps here, right? And here we don't have any valid order block. Okay, we have this order block here with fair value gap. Okay, below all this liquidity, that's fine. Now look at that order block there, as you can see. Look at it there. So there is possibility for market to start moving up from here because by then this liquidities has been taken out. So on US30, I'll be looking for the first position just at this particular what zone, because I'm expecting all these liquidities to be taken out because this did not sweep any liquidity before break. This did not sweep any liquidity before breaking. Only this swept liquidity and we have other blocks. So, and we don't have any valid order block here. Market could use all this as liquidity, then coming here before moving. This is my first point of interest. 3-to-1 risk reward is okay. Remember, then I can target this particular what? External high. In fact, let's target here maximum, right? Then, but if that we did not see that change of trend at this particular place, then we should be looking for that opportunity at this particular what place. Please don't be aggressive in this situation. Why? Because this order block is quite very big, because we saw it on 4 hours, right? So I'll be waiting for change of character at this particular place before I start taking it to the upside. So on US30, this is my first point of interest, right? Then this is my second point of interest. Let's see if I can analyze gold for you people today. Okay, let's go to daily. On daily, we have just one fair value. Oh, let's delete everything. First of all, congratulations to some of our viewers that utilize this good opportunity. Oh, okay, didn't, yes, it triggered. Okay, some of us that, oh, it didn't trigger our order, so it's fine. But I believe you must have utilized the opportunity because it came closer. You must have seen that change of trend to take this straight to the upside. So let's delete everything and break down very fast. On daily, gold is trying to take out this high here, and we cannot see any retracement without the market taking out this high. We could see that pump tomorrow. Then after that, we start seeing that sell to the downside, which is going to open door for this gap we are seeing here now to be covered, because here we are not seeing any valid gap again that gold needs to cover. Because when you look at it, gold always come back to cover this gap. Despite we have one gap left here to be covered, right? But it's still very far from where the price of the market is currently. So gold has been covering every gap here. Even when this gap was left, what happened? It came down and covered it. So, and as you can see, all the gap left has been covered aside from this particular one, which has opened door for market to come back to it to close it. Now, when we move to lower time frame, 4 hours, we cannot see any valid entry aside from what we are seeing at this particular place, which is this. Let's identify that other block. And we can see that it has fair value gap, but we have a low that has already swept a liquidity there. So let's go to 1 hour to see. All gap has been covered. So gold setup is not clear. Let's see, unless the market comes to this particular place, right? That's when I'll be looking for any opportunity to the upside. And we have that equal top that market has already taken as liquidity, right? Let me zoom a little for you to be seen accurately. So market could decide to use this as internal liquidity, because as you can see, this low did not sweep any liquidity before creating this internal high, right? And this internal high right now that we are seeing, right, the market is reacting to, the market could come down to use these lows, right, as a liquidity. So we could still be seeing that movement to the downside. Well, let's go to 30 minutes to see. Okay, we have that sweep of liquidity already here internally. Let's go to 15 minutes. Okay, now this lows has already swept liquidity and market is reacting, and okay, we have something here with a very small fair value gap, and we have fair value gap here, right? So let's identify this before moving to 5 minutes, because this is good. So we are going to go to that 5 minutes. So I'll be looking for extreme entry at this particular place or on gold, right? Now, please, you have to be careful. Wait for that change of trend. My first entry is going to be coming to this particular place, and I'm not going to be using this as my stop loss. It's going to come below this low. So you have to wait for that change of trend. Or okay, let's check something. On gold, things are not defined now. I think I'm not gonna be taking this trades here, but if you have a very good entry at that particular place, you can take that trade. You can take that trade if you have a very good entry there. You can take it. But for me, this is my point of interest, so that we won't lose any money. So we have to put our stop loss here and put our take profit 3-to-1 risk reward, or you target these external what highs. So on gold, this is what I have. Why? Because on gold is still very bullish. By the way, you can go through my previous video, because all these moves you are seeing to the upside, I covered all of them and I explained all the reasons why we should expect all these moves to the upside. So you can go through the video, you can learn a lot. So on gold right now, this is my extreme point of interest. If the market decides to come and take out all these internal structures, then I'll be looking for continuation to the upside. But currently, gold structure is not defined. And if you are to look for entry, you can look for that entry here because of that fair value gap we are seeing here. And this place the market could use as internal liquidity. So here, I will look for that entry here. Remember, trading is reactive and not predictive. Always wait for change of trend. Remember, this low. That's why you have to wait for change of trend. and I will be targeting 3-to-1 risk reward. Then after that, I target these highs. So for today's analysis on USDJPY, this is what I am expecting and I'm looking out for, right? This is what I'm looking out for. Let's see. Sorry, just a minute. Okay, these are things that I'm looking out for. Then on GBPUSD, this is what I'm expecting to happen. Remember, I'm expecting GBPUSD to sell. Be careful at this particular zone. Always wait for that change of character. And I doubt if this zone will hold it. But in case it does, you can look for that opportunity. On EURUSD, same here, right? Wait for a very good change of character here. Else, I'll be looking for that opportunity here. Then on US30, this is the extreme place that I'm looking for that opportunity. Then on gold, I'm looking for those two opportunities at this particular here, but this is my extreme point of interest. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you're not subscribed, and turn on the notification button so that whenever we share quality video like this, quality free educational live video like this, you'll be the first to get the notification. I'm wishing you people successful trading days ahead. Have a wonderful day, guys.